Alright guys, it's Jay Sharona, coach of the Jay Sharona Reapers here, and this is the team analysis for Week 1 of the WBE Mad Rabbits League. So, we've got both teams here. We've got our first week opponent, the Blissey Army, and yeah, I've had a quick look over both the teams, and I like both of them. They both look very good, but you've got obviously it seems two different styles here. I mean, with my team, it's a little more spread out over the speed tiers with not really, I guess, a clear strategy put into play. And on the Blissey Army side, you've got more middling to low speed tiers. So basically, if it's a contest of speed, then I should by rights win out in that case. But obviously, we'll break it down a little bit more, and we will get into the individual Pokemon analysis. Okay, so first up for the Blissey Army is the Gardevoir, Psychic Fairy type with 3 possible abilities. It could easily be any of these abilities, but I'm thinking more towards Synchronize. So you've got base stats of 68, 65, 65, 125, 115, and 80. The Gardevoir is obviously a very strong pick in terms of power, but it does leave its physical side is left to it's not amazing, which means it could easily be vulnerable to my Urshifu, and it's outsped by a fair chunk of my team, so Rillaboom could easily go after it. That is all considering if it's not actually scarfed. So I mean, yeah, obviously as week 1, we haven't seen any play yet, see what people are seeming to run. But if I had to guess, this Gardevoir will either be a full offense variant, which will be quite damning to my team if it's allowed to get into its flow. But it could also easily be the Trick Room variant with Imprison, Trick Room, all that kind of stuff to either prevent Trick Room or to possibly set up Trick Room itself. We'll have to see how it goes, but I'm liking my chances bringing Chandelier mostly against this, which it will carry Imprison Trick Room just as a precaution, because, I mean, with Imprison, if I've got Shadow Ball on that, then Gardevoir couldn't be able to use Shadow Ball on me. I will most likely go for my speed variant of Chandelier, as a matter of fact, so the boosted speed nature, just to give myself the most chance of outspeeding the Gardevoir, because they are both base 80, and if I go max speed, they go max speed, then it will force a speed tie at the very least. So yeah, the Gardevoir, very good choice, but I feel like I have some counters to it. Next up, you have the Toxtricity, the tier 2 pick. The very unique Poison Electric type with the Punk Rock, the Plus, and the Technician abilities. Most would run Punk Rock, but I remain to see what it is. Another special attacking Pokemon, HP 75, 98, 90, 114, 70, and 75. Again, like I said, nothing's been played so far, so it's definitely a strong pick, one of my more favourite Pokemon from the Generation 8 games. And yeah, I mean, set this thing up with a Throat Spray, Overdrive, Boom Burst, you can just go absolutely ham with it. I mean, looking at my team, I'm going to have to bring some electric coverage, so, I mean, Magneton is a possibility, but I think my main bet is bringing Jolteon with Volt Absorb to really just suck in those overdrives. Could be a switch in. I mean, I haven't got a perfect counter to Toxtricity, so it's probably one of the more dangerous mon. But I will be looking into ground coverage moves, either on Urshifu. Rillaboom will always carry its either Earthquake or more than likely High Horsepower, as obviously, if you didn't know before, grassy terrain reduces the power of Earthquake. So it's more than likely High Horsepower to cover that Toxtricity. So next you've got the Serena, which I'm a really big fan of, with the Queenly Majesty more likely coming out. I mean, Queenly Majesty will be preventing priority, but the only real priority Pokemon I've got is Sableye, and I will more than likely end up not bringing Sableye to this fight, as the risk of having Serena there is a bit too great. I mean, Sableye could do bits against this team. It could taunt some things, just not Slowking if that's got Oblivious, which is what you got to be careful of with that. But otherwise, I can see a few things that maybe Sableye could do. But anyway, Serena, again, 72, 120, 98, 50, 98, 72. Very balanced in defences, but I think it should be fine if we have the Noivern in there, or even the Urshifu could probably do a huge chunk of damage to that. I'll probably do some damage calcs and base it off of that. However, with the looks of their team, I'm not going to need to run speed nature on my Urshifu, so it will most likely be an all-out attack variant. I mean, yeah, again, I haven't managed to use Serena yet, but it is a soft psychic terrain on my opponent's side of the field. So, I mean, definitely something to be careful of, especially with Rillaboom, actually, again, because of the Grassy Glide becoming priority. I've just had a little quick look on the damage calculator, and it would seem that Urshifu with Choice Band attack investment is fine to knock out a Serena. So I'm pretty sure Urshifu is going to be in my 6. Honestly, I might have to just take my Speed Core this time, because of the look of the rest of the team. Okay, on to the next Pokemon. I mean, it's Corviknight. I love Corviknight. One of my favourite Gen 8s, definitely. But for Corviknight, it's slow in comparison to a lot of the Gen 8 Mons. But it's HP 98, 87, 105, 53, 85, and 67. I mean, yeah, Corviknight can be run in a myriad of different ways. Mirror Armor, always something to look out for, because a lot of the max moves will drop stats, but that will flip them back onto you. So definitely something to be wary of. But Corviknight, pretty safe to have Jolteon against it. I mean, Jolteon nearly double its base speed, and it's just a very strong power move playing Jolteon versus Corviknight. And I mean, alongside its partner, it should be fine. I don't see any Lightning Rod Pokemon on their side, so Jolteon's a pretty safe call in this case. But otherwise, I mean, Chandelure should deal with it fine as well, with spamming a few Heat Waves, or even Shadow Balls against it will do well. Or I could carry Will-O-Wisp on it and just burn it, neuter its attack a bit. Yeah, it should be fine. Should be dealt with. You have the Centiskorch next, which, another good Pokemon. Weak to a few common types, a bit of rock and a bit of water. I mean, your boy Cramorant might have to make an appearance just to cover this Centiskorch up a bit, but Chandelure should deal with that fine. And I mean, Urshifu Single Strike. I was thinking Rapid Strike there, but Single Strike I might be a little more wary of. I think Bug is neutral to it, but Noivern should handle that pretty well. I think this week it'll just be all Speed Core, realistically, looking at my coverage options. So yeah, next choice is the Beware, which I completely forgot was a thing, to be honest. But Fluffy makes it vulnerable to Fire-type damage, but while halving contact damage, I believe. So yeah, it's a good Pokemon, decent typing, but with Noivern and even Chandelure here, and Cramorant as well, shouldn't be too difficult to deal with. We'll just have to look out for any powerful hits that are coming in, because my team is a little frail on that regards. Not too much bulk on the speedier end. So yeah, it should be okay though. Very high HP stat, but shouldn't be able to take too many hits from Noivern, etc. Then you have the Sylveon, which I know how powerful this thing can get. Pixelate is a great ability for it. It will absolutely decimate you if it gets going. That thing will rip Urshifu single strikes in half. It's why I'm half tempted to bring Berserker or Magneton just in case of the Sylveon. Magneton matches up well against Corviknight. It matches up pretty well against Serena, depending on high jump kick accuracy. So that might be bring Berserker out if Serena comes out hard switch into Chandelier to make it miss. But yeah, I'd say Magneton might actually have to make the 6th slot just in case of Sylveon. Because otherwise, obviously, Magneton has the good matchup against Gardevoir as well, and Toxtricity. So honestly, it's probably a smart move to carry Magneton this week. It gives me bulk, it gives me some offensive presence against quite a fair few of their Pokemon. Yeah. Then you've got the namesake, the team mascot, you've got the Blissey Army, having the Blissey. And this thing is just going to be a pain in the bottom, isn't it? I think Urshifu does one-tap it, so it shouldn't be something that I'm super afraid of, but it's something that if I let it get going on its team and have it as its role as a support, I should really be careful about what I target first. Whether I should target the Blissey or whether I should target its partner. Because if it's not got something to partner up with it, then I'm going to have to just think, right, this thing cannot do too much to me. But Urshifu deals with it pretty safely from the looks of things, and honestly, the special attackers aren't going to be what I'm dealing with here. Urshifu and Rillaboom are the ones that are definitely more suited to take on the Blissey, as you can see from its stat spread. So, yeah, it's still Speed Core. It's just a matter of getting the lockdown on Trick Room, I believe, this week. Especially with this little beauty, Turtonator. I love this Pokemon, and the fact that it's a tier 4 is a travesty. But it's tier 4, and it's going to be difficult to deal with. Shell Armor, preventing crits. 60 base HP, 78 attack, 135 defense, 91 special attack, 85 special defense, speed 36. Again, this Pokemon will either be Trick Room, but can function just as a Shell Trapper, really, which can just devastate a team if not prepared. So, it's something to be careful against. Cramorant would be pretty alright against it. Chandelier, again, should deal a decent amount. Noivern is my main counter though, with the resistance to fire in the dragon typing, and then just if I go Specs Noivern, dropping a Draco on this thing will absolutely ruin its day. So yeah, probably not the best Pokemon for them to bring if I'm bringing Noivern. But if they get the Trick Room off, this Turtonator could go in easily. Next up, the second last Pokemon is their Gigantamax Colossal, their Gigantamax pick. I did look into things, and they don't have a priority way to set off Steam Engine, which I don't know if they didn't think of that, or if their pick was taken. But if it is a Steam Engine weakness policy variant, it's definitely something to be wary of. Especially if I can't deal with it quickly. Urshifu will deal an absolute ton to this thing. Even with the base 120 defense, a banded Urshifu will hit it like a train. So, it should be fine to face off against it. Just do run a quick damage count. Plus, even Rillaboom, if I max it straight away and do a max Quake, it's quite effective. And like I said, those two outspeed the majority of things that my opponent has. Yeah, banded close combat into this thing does 117. If it's Dynamax, 59 to 70. This is in a non-defense invested variant, just so you're aware of what I'm calculating against. I'm calculating against a special defensive variant. But a Rillaboom with an orb, going for a high horsepower on this thing. I mean, high horsepower does 58 to 68 if it's non-Dynamaxed. If my Rillaboom is Gigantamaxed as well, it does 79 to 93 on the Gigantamaxed form. So Colossal should be dealt with easily by my boys. It's not too much of a threat without the priority that I can see anyway. So then you've got the final Pokemon is the Slowking. And I mean, it's a Slowking. It runs Oblivious, which means it's immune to Taunt, which is something I've got to be careful of. But it doesn't block Imprison, which is quite nice. So if this thing comes along, I should probably, in all doubts, lead Chandelure, because I will Imprison Trick Room off of that thing. So it's not going to be the best option. If I do the calcs quickly, it's a very bulky Pokemon, especially, and even physically, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's just very slow, and if we can get rid of it quickly, then they shouldn't have any way to set up Trick Room apart from the Gardevoir, which, again, is quite frail in comparison. So that's just my little analysis of each of their Pokemon and what they could possibly do, what roles they could fill in this team. Then again, I'm most likely going to run my speed squad with Jolteon, Noivern, Urshifu, Chandelure for sure, Rillaboom, and likely Magneton over Cramorant, because Magneton just deals with more of their team. Yeah, Magneton deals with more of their team, with the Steel and Electric typing being very strong. Everlight set makes it bulk for days. Chandelure will be a very, very good king piece here. With the Imprison Trick Room on it, I can set up Trick Room if I really needed it, but on this team I won't. It'll be more for Imprison to block any possible Trick Room plays. G-Max Rillaboom is a given. It is Rillaboom, which is insane. It gives itself priority. It hits like an absolute train. Yeah, it's just the done choice. Urshifu Single Strike definitely coming along. It just hits like an absolute. If Rillaboom's a freight train, Urshifu Single Strike is whatever's bigger than that, because this thing hits hard. And then Noivern and Jolteon, I don't think Gardevoir Scarfed outspeeds and maxed Noivern. Let me just quickly check that. Noivern. If I go for the fast Noivern with timid nature, okay, maybe it does, actually. Gardevoir. Yeah, if you scarf a Gardevoir, it's actually faster than a Noivern at max speed. I mean, let's have a look at Jolteon quickly as well. Jolteon, yeah, so to be fair, if the Gardevoir is max speed and it's choice scarfed, it can outspeed these two. However, Gardevoir could only really tackle one of them at any one time. So bringing my speed core should be fine. And once Gardevoir is out of the way, nothing in that team could really outspeed anything except my Magneton. So I think it's Jolteon, Noivern, Urshifu, Rillaboom, Chandelure, and Magneton for week 1. As for predictions, what they'll bring, most likely Slowking will come out, Gardevoir as their 2 Trick Roomers, possibly Colossal, yeah, most likely Colossal, maybe Turtonator as well, Blissey, and I'd say Toxtricity or Serena coming out this week. So, yeah, that's just my little team analysis. Hopefully that's gone down well after the match, and cheers, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.